All right, be prepared for the increase in payroll tax. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. You can see it a mile away. I don't know if you follow Devin Carroll YouTube channel. If you don't, you should. If I remember, I'll put links in the show notes. He just did a great video. I think he just published this morning. I'm a big fan of Devin, actually. He and I communicate on occasion. He talked about the increase in Medicare Part B and how there's a special law, I guess, that was just passed a couple weeks ago, I guess signed by the Trumpster, that basically kept the premium increases from going up too much. But Devin said if it's under the previous calculations, the Medicare premiums would have gone up by $15 a month or something like that. So from $145 to $160, instead I think it's going up by like $2 or $3. And so unless they pass a special law again and again and again, you can be prepared that we're going to, okay, there we go. You can be prepared that we're going to have big Medicare premium increases. And the reason for that is, frankly, Medicare is an hurting unit. Everyone talks about Social Security. I was talking to this client yesterday, and she's like rightly so, I think Social Security, what if they take 20%? I was like, Social Security compared to Medicare, never mind Medicaid, is freaking, my goodness, that's like Fort Knox. Medicare is in a world of H-U-R-T. That spells hurt. And Medicaid is just done. I mean, that's all there is to it. So if Medicare is in a world of hurt, and on top of that, they're going to try to expand it, there ain't no money for that, my friends. And on top of that, the Trustees report says we expect an increase of 5.5% a year. If we're only getting 2.5% this year, and the number said it should have gone up by like $10 or $15 a month for your Part B, and I can't remember what he said about Part D, what Devin said, but if the Part B is going up by 10 or 15 bucks a month, the Part D is too. And there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, you can work under the table, I suppose. That's stupid. You can, if you're self-employed like I am, you can give yourself a dividend income as opposed to salary. That's stupid. Because the benefit of Medicare and Social Security, they are truly entitlements. You work, you earn it. We make money the old-fashioned way. We earn it. Remember that from watching football during the early 80s? John Householder, we earn it. And the benefit about that is that I can't say they can't take your entitlement, but it's not a transfer. It's not a welfare. It's an entitlement. You earned it. You're entitled to it. And that makes you have an incentive to remain part of the system. So if you go to the black market, if you give yourself, if you do all kinds of stuff to reduce your Medicare and Social Security taxes, you're actually you're hurting yourself in the long run for sure. So don't do that. So the only way not to pay an increase in Medicare payments, or i.e. payroll tax, because it's coming, is not to make the money. And not to make the money on terms of what the government sees. Well, don't do that. So what's going to happen now is they're going to say, look, we got to raise the payroll tax. And I've been advocating a payroll tax hike for 2 years now. 35 basis points on both sides. 35 for you, the employee, 35 for you, the employer. For me, 35 basis points for every $100,000 I make would cost me $700. That's 70 basis points on $100,000. So that costs me $700, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. 7,000. So it costs me $700 a year more in taxes. Well, I mean that sucks, but at the end of the day, I want a solvent Medicare. I want a solvent Social Security. So you're gonna have to raise a payroll tax, and again, that gives more people an incentive to be part of the system to make sure it doesn't get taken from you by an incredible government that would never do that anyway, because they'll never get the votes. But it's coming, man. They don't have the money, and they're going to raise payroll taxes in which to make it more solid. I'm just telling you. Now, they'll do some other stuff in here. They'll give you something here, but ultimately they're going to raise the payroll tax. So what do? Well, you can't. I mean, there's nothing you can do. But this is where it comes again to move to a no-income tax state, at least while you're working. When you're retired, the tax code is actually quite favorable on your state. Now, again, the feds are different. I don't want to talk about the feds. I want to talk about the state. So if they raise your payroll tax, we'll just say, $700. I'm just using that for example. All right, so that's another $700 out. They might raise their income tax as well. Kamal's already saying, we're going to repeal that tax cut. Call me Kamala. She's already talking about that. So basically, you're going to have taxes going up. So how do you offset that? Well, you can't flee to Cyprus like freaking the guy from Google is, Eric Schmidt. He's fleeing to Cyprus. And yet Biden's still going to put him in his administration because he doesn't want to pay American tax. It's crazy. If you're not an American citizen, you should not be advising American governments. That's all there is to it. But anyway, so You can't do that. I'm not going to do that. But what else could you do? Well, you could flee to a different state. So if you're working and making money like in Georgia or somewhere in Massachusetts or Montana or California, you move to Nevada, you move to Washington, you move to New Hampshire, you move to Tennessee or Florida. That way you can at least save. I mean, you think about it. If Georgia charges you 6% a year in taxes on $100,000, that's $6,000 a year. So moving an hour and a half north will save you $6,000. That money will be more than enough to offset the increase in payroll tax. That's pretty attractive to me, if you ask me. Florida, the same thing, because Georgia is sandwiched between Florida and on the south and Tennessee in the north. But anyway, that's one of the ways you can offset that. Now, moving is not as easy. I mean, it's a pain. Look, it's hard. People say, "When are you moving, Josh?" It's tough, man. We got kids. We got this house. Moving is a pain. But also, what else is a pain? Paying more taxes when I know I could go up there and save a whole lot of money, if that makes sense. So we shall see how things shake out. But also, moving your children as they're ingrained in school is tough. But it's coming, so you better be prepared for it for sure, because Medicare is in a world of hurt, and Medicare is actually, I tell you, man, more and more people go on the system, more and more government or liberals saying we need to expand it. Yeah, it's coming. So just be advised. Now, of course, that does hurt incentives to hire people. I mean, the facts are, if I'm a small business and I got to, put unemployment compensation, OSHA regulations, all this crap, and then I got to pay increasing payroll taxes, it just makes it that much more harder to bring people on board. So I tell you, the coming workplace is going to be individual 1099 employees. You can see that a mile away. I got to do another video on that too, because that's going to be a big deal for sure. Because people just aren't going to be inclined to hire people when the cost to hire people is so extravagant. All right, be prepared. We'll see you